Hi, and welcome to The Curling Show, the podcast that brings you interviews with the sport's top athletes and the people who shape the game. I'm Dean Gemmel, and in this edition, we talk to the skip of what must currently be Manitoba's favorite women's team. The 2008 Canadian Junior Women's Champion, Kaitlyn Lawes, welcome to The Curling Show.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, first, congratulations on your win, the first Canadian Junior Women's title for a Manitoba team since Kelly Scott, then Mackenzie. Back in 1995. Has the reality sunk in yet?
It's starting to, but I don't think it's fully hit yet. It's pretty exciting.
Hey, in the Winnipeg Free Press, Paul Wycheck says you've been labeled a prodigy since the age of 13. What put you over the top in your own province this year, besides the fact that Colleen Neufeld wasn't playing in juniors anymore?
I think, we've been knocking on the door for a couple years now, and we had a great year this year, and we were able to finally accomplish our goals, what we've been working for a number of years now.
How long has this team played together?
I've played with Jenna and Sarah for about 6 years now, and this is the first year that Liz has joined our team.
The Worlds are in Sweden, and some of your teammates say they've never been overseas. In fact, your lead, Sarah, says she's only been as far as the United States border. Do all of you have passports yet?
We all did. Liz just got one. Well, after we won the provincials, I said, Liz, I think you're going to have to get a passport. And she said, why? I'm like, you just get a passport. So she worked on it before we left for nationals, and I think it arrived on her doorstep yesterday. So I think we're all ready to go. So
you had a hunch, did you? It said, when you were in Sault Ste. Marie, you said midway through the week, you turned to your lead and said you thought you could win this thing. But it sounds like you were thinking you could win this thing right from the get-go.
Well, we were kind of jokingly before our provincials started, and I found out that Liz didn't have a passport, and I knew the Worlds were in Sweden. So I kind of said to her, I was like, as a present to me, I was like, how about we get you a passport? So, I don't know, we knew that we were able to compete with the top teams in the country, but we just had to get to that level first, and once we did, we saw that we were able to compete with these teams, and our goals were able to become reality.
So getting the passport was part of good karma as much as anything, wasn't it?
Of course.
Hey, of course, anyone who's read about you and your team knows that life has dealt you some tough cards in the last year. Your father, Keith, passed away in November. How much of your love of the game comes from him?
All of it. Well, I grew up with the sport with him, and he brought me to the curling clubs, I'm sure, before I was able to walk. And it's something that the two of us did together, and he helped me throughout my whole entire curling career. And it's unfortunate that he wasn't able to be with me during the winning our provincials and winning the nationals.
Your coach, Alex Mowat, also had some real challenges recently. In all the hardship, did your team find a certain strength, a feeling that somehow, some way, you were going to pull out a win?
Well, I think curling has helped us kind of have a common bond. It's something that we are all able just to keep doing, and it's something that we enjoy, so a lot of our energy has been put towards it. So I think curling's helped us all get through some of the tough times that we have been doing or going through, because, I mean, it's tough and you can't deal with all this alone. So it's been great to have my curling teammates and my coach help me through all this.
I imagine sometimes the best thing to do is get on the curling ice for 2.5 hours, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, why not do something that I knew my dad loved and I love as well? So it kind of feels like he's out there with me.
After jumping out to a big lead in the final, Stephanie McVicker's Saskatchewan team crept back in with a couple of steals. What have you learned from your dad, from coaches, from clinics, whatever, that other juniors might want to know that helped you maintain your composure?
Never give up. I mean, curling, it is a slippery game. It's hard to keep a big lead, especially with the 4-rock rule. And that Saskatchewan team, I mean, they were shooting the lights out. So we expected that the game would become a lot closer than it was at the beginning. You have to stay patient. I think that's the biggest thing. It's very important. If you're not patient, then you are going to lose your big lead, and who knows, it could turn around on you pretty easily.
You have some serious Manitoba pedigree on your team, with your second Liz Peters being the daughter of Vic Peters. Does Vic offer your team any advice, or does he leave that to your coach?
He's helped us out a lot this year. I mean, he is an ice maker at the Fort Garry Curling Club, so he's helped us, and we've thrown a couple rocks with him. And while we were at the Nationals, we sat down and talked to him a bit just to kind of debrief, and because he's been at that level before, he knows what to expect, and he knew that we were able to compete with those teams. He just kind of pushed us along and said, hey, you can go out and do this thing.
So he helped give you the confidence that you could win?
I think the confidence was there, but it was just kind of like more fan support and family encouragement. But it was great to have him out there with us.
All right, well, I'm always interested in the state of junior curling anywhere. I think you're all from curling families, but were you a part of a junior program at a club in Winnipeg, or how did you start the game besides going down to the rink with your father?
I started my first league, I think I was probably 6 or 7. I played Little Rocks at a curling club here in Winnipeg. And then that just kind of grew into more junior leagues and playing in some ladies' leagues, men's leagues. And
Do they have school curling at your school?
at university or at the high school?
Well, actually, at high school, did they have high school curling?
We did, yeah. It wasn't like a big thing. We did curling in our gym classes, but they also had the school team where you could try out and get to the provincial levels. And
Right.
I played high school curling for a couple of years.
Well, the reason I always ask is I worry sometimes that all the junior curlers seem to have parents who curl, and I think we need to get kids who didn't have parents who curl playing as well. Does everybody on your team, all of them have parents who curl?
Yeah, I guess Sarah's dad curls, but I think she kind of got into the sport just by watching the game more on TV than the parents' commitment.
Hey, it's hard to believe that Manitoba hasn't won a women's junior crown since '95. Now I think you'll probably be tagged as the next great women's player in the province. You're 19 now. Do you think you or any part of your team will play in the women's playdowns next year?
Well, we played in the ladies' playdowns this year
Right.
after we had gotten our spot in the juniors, but we weren't very successful with that. I think we were still more focused on playing juniors, and our ladies were just to get a couple more games in. My front end's done this year, so I'm not too sure what they're doing next year in the ladies. I know they don't really want to talk about it. They want to stay juniors as long as they can, but...
But would your focus shift to women's next year? Or do you think you'll take another run at juniors?
I don't think it'll switch to women's yet. I still have another year of juniors left, so I think might as well milk it as much as I can.
Well, how did you do in the zone playdowns?
We won one game, and then we had a couple close ones, but we didn't come through with many other wins.
Well, what do you sense is going to be the biggest change when you start to play the women's game? Or what have you sensed already?
I think just the strategy is different, and you have to be really patient with the ladies because the game is quite different, and I don't know. I'm not too sure what the biggest change will be. I guess if I'm sticking with a younger team or if I'm going to be looking to play with a more experienced ladies team first, I'm not too sure.
Have you thought about what your preference might be, or you're just not sure yet?
Well, part of me, I love playing front end. I started playing lead when I was, 10 and 11 years old. So I do really enjoy that. So part of me would think it'd be a really good experience for me to try playing with an experienced ladies team. But with the success we're getting right now, I think it'd be nice to start with a younger team and kind of build our way through and make a name for ourselves in the ladies. But we'll see what happens.
Hey, you have an older sister, Andrea Lawes, who has quite a curling resume of her own. You've lived in different provinces, but have you ever played in an event together?
Actually, this year she came out in October and she spared on our team in the ladies' bond field, so that was fun. I think that was the first time we'd actually played together. But we definitely talk a lot of curling talk to each other.
Have you talked to her since you won?
Yes, we have. She phoned me right after.
Oh, yeah? And what advice did she give you for the Worlds?
Just to stick at it. Right now we're kind of on a high, so we have to just kind of build from that, I guess. Practice lots, but nothing too intense. There's nothing really to change right now.
Did she give you any thoughts on preparing for the pressure of wearing the maple leaf on your back?
Not really. I don't think we haven't talked about that too much yet. I don't think that will be a big issue with us because we don't really look at it as, we have the maple leaf on our back. We're just out there to do our job and curl some games.
Just make shots, right? Usually
yeah,
works.
Exactly. Hit the broom and throw the right weight.
Hey, you're probably excited to go to Sweden, but do you think it would be more exciting or less exciting to play in Canada?
I think either way would be very exciting. I mean, it's going to be tough to get all our fans out there with us because it is quite expensive to go over to Sweden, but I think if we were playing in Canada, it would be just as exciting as playing in Sweden.
And how's your school schedule work out with all this?
No, I don't know yet. It's interesting. It's tough. A lot of the professors are very forgiving and they're willing to work with us to see what we can do, but it's tough trying to deal with school and curling right now.
And you're all university students?
Yes, we are.
Hopefully you have some accommodating professors there.
Yeah, that would be nice.
All right, Kaitlyn, we end with a run back. I give you a topic, and you give me your thoughts on it in 1 to 3 words.
All right.
Beautiful. Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario.
A really fun place to curl.
I bet. The burned rock controversy at the Manitoba Scotties Tournament of Hearts that just won't seem to go away.
Unfortunate.
Wearing the buffalo on your back.
Best feeling in the whole world.
Buffalo burgers.
I've never had one.
Never had one. Nobody. Have you seen a buffalo?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Jeff Stoughton claims he drives by them on the way to work, but I always check with Manitoba people. Why I shouldn't miss the Winnipeg Brier.
Because it's going to be the best place to have the Brier.
And finally, a prediction from you on the winner of next week's Scotties Tournament of Hearts.
That's a tough one. I'm not too sure.
Not too sure. She's not going to go on a limb.
It's a toss-up. There's lots of great teams out there.
The safe call would be to say Manitoba. You know.
Go Jennifer Jones.
Yeah, if you want to be a Manitoba backer. But anyways, I don't know, to be honest. It's a great field, so I don't know who's going to come out on top there. I don't think anybody does. That's why we play, right?
Exactly.
All right, Kaitlyn, I usually give teams a chance to name their sponsors. I don't know if you had any or not. If you did, let me know.
Asham Curling Supplies, Polar Window, TNM, Precise Machine Technology, Sobeys, and the list goes on. But
hey, nice. Okay. Somebody did a nice job. But what is the machine technology company? What do they do? I'm going to grill you.
I'm not too sure what the company exactly does. It's a company based out of Gimli, Manitoba, but they've been great supporting us this year.
Okay. Gimli, the home where they had the provincials.
Yeah.
And the people got unruly in that arena.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Kaitlyn. Hey, thanks for being on the show. I really do appreciate your time. It's a busy week, I know, for you. I know you had a tough time getting out of the Soo on the way home.
Yeah, it was a little difficult, but we managed to get home.
Yeah, and Vic Peters just barely made it back for his first game, I understand. Mm-hmm. But and good luck at the World Juniors. I'm sure you'll do well.
Thank you very much.
That's Kaitlyn Lawes on The Curling Show. If you're a longtime listener, you've probably heard my call for assistance for a fledgling curling club in Kalamazoo, Michigan, a place I once lived. I'm pleased to report they're moving ahead nicely and planning an open house that already has more than 70 people signed up. With all those new curlers, though, one thing they could use are some brushes. If you have some old ones that you could send their way, email me and I'll put you in touch with the right people. Or just visit the website of the Kalamazoo Curling Club. Could there be a club with a better name? It's KalamazooCurlingClub.com. As always, thanks for listening.
Don't you know it's hard for me to see things that I cannot find? How can I tell if it's a dream or just all in my mind?